So what we're going to talk about today, guys, is how are top agents getting more business in this spring market in 2015? What are they doing? What they're not doing? How are we going to share this? I work over at Coldwell Preferred. What I do differently is I help agents. I don't give a crap where you work. I'll help you. I'll help you grow your business. I'll give you ideas. I'll share what's working, what's not working to help you grow your business. And today we're going to talk about is what are agents doing to do different business. So the first thing we're talking about is what are top agents doing to prospect was our first topic today. So guys, I'm seeing people spend money. Before we got on this call, we were talking about Facebook. We were talking about ads on Facebook and the success that we have on Facebook right now. I'm seeing big time returns on ads. What are you guys seeing on Facebook ads right now?
I guess probably a mixed bag, I would say. There's some, we've had some guests interviewed on other Hangouts that said that they're seeing some success running people to their home valuation sites. So it depends on how you define success. We haven't seen a lot of overwhelming ironclad results, but everybody's definition is a little bit different. So if you're going for opt-ins and you're going to your main objective is just to drive people from Facebook into your opt-in so they get a home value report, and then you're happy to, and then you can follow up consistently from there. I think that's probably, as long as that's your standard of success, then yes, we're seeing that.
Yeah, and I've seen some success with some of our agents trying to get into new neighborhoods and that kind of stuff, because in Facebook you can narrow it down to where the people live and if they've moved in the last year and what type of work they do and all that kind of stuff. So when they're trying to break into some new neighborhoods or some new markets, being able to geolocate where those people are and market specifically to the target audience that they want to, we've seen some success in that.
So I had an agent in the office the other day do exactly what you just talked about, Scott, was they actually went into an association, and in that association they marketed via Facebook. They sold 4 houses in that neighborhood and then marketed towards that area via Facebook. I think he spent around $10 and he got 5 leads. I have another guy, 2 guys recently, only spent 10 or 20 bucks. One guy got 8 leads, and the other girl got probably around 5, 6 leads, and they spent it on focusing on their center of influence, people that they know. So it's pretty interesting. With me, it's more branding. It's more brand recognition of understanding, what we're doing, what's out there. And with me, with Facebook, it's helped me recognize what we're doing differently with people who probably not know what we're doing. So like with these Hangouts, I'll specialize and target people in the area via my friends and their friends or different brokerages and pick the Remaxes, the Kellers, the Fox and Roaches, pretty much everybody except, well, I do Coldwell too because our agents need to know it too. So I pretty much pick all the brokerages that are local and then market towards them. It's and when I do speak to the people, they definitely do recognize the name more. And I believe that's through the brand awareness of viral sending the videos and myself branding myself on Facebook. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and if you're going to do anything on the branding side, you do have to hit it from quite a few different angles. Like Facebook ads, if you're doing it just for branding and then that's all you're doing, I can see probably the potential there to dump a lot of money in that and not see a lot of return. Like the key there is you got to keep in touch with your database. You have to be emailing and sending them something, and then like the Facebook ads, if you're doing it for branding, is reinforcing that. That way, when you're following up with them, they remember who you are more easily, or they remember your company name, or whatever the case is that you're trying to promote. So it's kind of like you just have to see it in its proper place.
Absolutely. We're doing the phone call with the video with the Facebook. The biggest challenge I'm seeing with people having as agents, and I believe more of them should be doing viral or another system, where they try to do it on their own and they're missing the boat on the power of YouTube. In real estate right now, I say it's the #2 search mechanism for internet business for real estate. And guys, I don't know what you guys are seeing. I don't see enough people utilizing YouTube correctly.
No, it's that not to be a plug, but yes, it's. I mean, obviously that's what we do. One of the things that we've noticed that does work really well, that is not necessarily a core part of the program, but we're starting to offer it more and more, and people are getting kind of grasping the impact of it, is community videos on YouTube. because then you can really drill down and you can go after the specific neighborhoods, or you can, like you mentioned with the HOA, you could go and film a specific video for that exact subdivision, condo development, complex, whatever it is that you're trying to go into, and you set yourself up as the expert, and you back it up by shooting a community video and then posting it on YouTube where everything is keyworded up to match that specific area that you're going after. So I think that's something people are getting more awareness of, and it will get more popular. So the people that jump in early and get the best areas with the high turnover, good list prices and stuff like that, are going to have a serious advantage.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, and what you just mentioned on there, Matt, with the going after a certain target, you're probably going to get your most bang for your buck advertising on Facebook and on YouTube if you're going after a certain target market. If you're just trying to brand, you can really try to do that organically through your team, Jeremy. If you post something and have everyone on your team share it on their personal pages to where it gets out to all of their Facebook friends and that kind of stuff, you're going to get a lot more organic views and not have to spend any money on that, and it can really blow up a post that way. So having everyone in your office just share something is a real easy way to get a lot of views on that one post.
So that's a challenge, Scott, that I've had, and I've seen top agents. We're talking about what are top agents doing to prospect. I see some of the top agents actually doing what we're talking about. I'm seeing others just looking at Facebook to post personal stuff, and I really have to stay on top of agents and ask them to share and to comment, and they will, but they still should be doing it more. What do you guys have seen in offices where people have been building better habits to share stuff and comment more? Because it's not top of mind, I don't think, with enough top agents.
Oh, are we talking about to share and post specifically on real estate topics?
Yeah, so you say, for example, you guys give something good, they should leverage that and then post and comment and share that to their people. I don't see enough agents leveraging those good posts and utilizing it well enough. They just look at Facebook kind of as a personal, let's talk to my buddies, or let's post in a family picture. I still think Facebook has a lot more room to grow, at least in the Philadelphia marketplace. I don't see enough agents utilizing it well enough, and that's even top agents,
Really? Yeah. I mean, I can see there's for us when we're working with some of the things that I've noticed with the top agents or coaches that we interview, what they'll recommend is you get on and you do you can do like the kind of the 5 and 5, you just go through and like 5 posts, send out 5 personal messages, 5 sharing. You go through and you look for something, 5 valuable posts that you can share. If you just kind of set a routine like that and block out your time a little bit, then you can do it. It's a good way to keep in touch with your database. Make sure that everybody that's in your email database that you're friends with on Facebook, and if they're not, you just go through there and start friend requesting people. And so there's a lot of different ways you can use Facebook. I think, like Scott said, if there's something really valuable that somebody on your team or in your office or in the real estate community shares, then yeah, absolutely should be passing that along. And you just have to block out part of your day outside of your normal prospecting hours to do that and just put some focused time into it, because it really doesn't take that much time. It's more like just having that little block of time every day to do it and do it well.
Yeah, and you mentioned something there, Matt, and just kind of touched on it, but really balancing it out between personal and business is huge. So Matt said that you want to go on and say 5 personal things. So people use that as they look to see who has birthdays those days, that they may want to comment on their wall about a birthday, or if something big's happening in a life, somebody's getting married or something, they can comment there. That's personal, and then you can go and share 5, and they can be personal or business, and then maybe say something about business and try to get some more people in the team to share that along as one of the things that they share. So it really is all about balancing the personal and the business use on the Facebook page.
I like it. I'm writing a note right now to put that by my door when I walk out, the 555 rule. I like it, man. I like it. So what are top agents doing? I'm seeing them utilize Facebook, but I think they could utilize Facebook better. I see some agents using YouTube, but could utilize YouTube better. a lot of them are just hitting the phones and doing that very well and lead generating that way and staying in touch with their contacts. I'm seeing a good job doing the mass emails, once a month or twice a month to their database and trying to bring value there. I'm sometimes seeing them doing a appreciation party. And one of the things I talked to some agents about last year is don't do an appreciation party in December, because everybody does them in December, and then everybody gets tired of drinking and eating in December. So a smart guy told me one time, don't send out a holiday card. Send out a spring card or send out a Thanksgiving card. Send a card out that someone typically doesn't send. Summer's coming, something like that. So for those parties, I've been trying to get people to do a party in May. Do a party in September to get people not to be mixed in with the 10 other parties, and then you'll get a lot more attention there. So I think that's interesting. I have some people working on that. And of course, they're going to events and they're networking, and they're doing a very good job of following up with their people. Lastly is databases. I mean, you guys are all about database, right? This business is about database management, right? And we actually went out and bought a software for our agents across the country because we understood that many of them don't have the correct database. They might have Top Producer, they might have Outlook, but they're not utilizing it correctly. So we bought a database that we're going to link. You guys are at Market Leader, right? NRT went out and got partnered up with Market Leader to get them just to utilize their database better. And top agents, you can see it. Either they're not tech savvy or they super are and they're leveraging their database. It's like one way or the other. I just like to see some more top agents be all on that level. What do you guys see in top agents? Are you seeing them really leveraging their database, or could they be doing a better job?
Well, it's, everybody can be doing a better job. And on the tech savvy side of it, I did want to point out, I was so we were interviewing Michael Mayer the other day, and he mentioned that he knows exactly who he's going to talk to out of his database a year from now, and it's all tracked in his Google Calendar. Like, you can get super, super low tech. Like, you don't have to necessarily use a database program. You literally can just assign yourself, hey, call this person a year from now, follow up with them every 6 months, and you can literally just dump it into an appointment on your Google Calendar and keep track of it that way. So you don't have to be super tech savvy to keep in touch with the key people in your database. You just have to identify who they are and determine that, yes, I'm going to keep in better touch with them, and then just figure out how to get it into your schedule a bit better. And if you find a tech tool that you like, Top Producer can do it. You can do action plans, all these other CRMs you can use, but you don't have to. It's really just about determining who are the key people in your database that you need to follow up with, and then making a plan for yourself just to keep track of who they are and when you want to contact them.
Yeah. So the second one, we said, what are top agents generating their sales leads from? We touched upon a couple of those, and I'm seeing them generate them from Facebook, some from YouTube. It's really not from the cold YouTube business. It's using YouTube to stay in front of their contacts or center of influence. Phone calls are huge. I still think it's the number one, in direct mail, and then emails. Are you guys seeing anything else that people are using right now to generate their sales leads? Obviously Zillow, Trulia websites and stuff like that.
Yeah, Hollingsworth. Any? I mean, outside of the typical, there's nothing that springs to mind right off the bat.
Yeah, not for me either.
I mean, there's some interesting, I guess, technologies that are coming. I was just on the phone earlier this morning with Leads Today. They've got their seller lead gen platform. They're obviously not the only one out there, but they have a platform to help you generate seller leads and try to predict who's about to kind of come on the market. And there's other products that are attempting to do the same thing. I've noticed some people get good results with farming and door-to-door, like really hitting the farming hard in terms of just going door to door. There's an agent out here in Del Mar that does incredibly well, and his main prospecting is just about an hour to an hour and a half a day. He just door knocks the same group of, I think it's like 5,000 homes out here in one of the beach communities, and makes really, really, really good money just focusing on that and keeping in touch with that farming area. But that's a long-term play, obviously.
See, but we do that in Philadelphia too with the door knocking, and I agree with you. Face-to-face is the best. And then it's the phone call, And I think why video is so important is it's the next best thing to, face to face. You get to know the person. If we didn't see each other's faces right now and we were just talking on the phone, I wouldn't feel like I know you as much because I don't see your face. It's pretty interesting. We're doing very well on it. I just find that some agents have a hard time, going door to door, but the ones that do it do well. And in this area, they do very well with new construction. I teach them to go out and talk to builders at 7:30. You want to impress a builder, show up at his construction site at 7:30 with donuts and coffee, not in a suit, but some shoes and some pants and something decent, but not dressed in a suit, right?
Yeah.
And you'll show them that you work, because most builders think that realtors are overpaid. Get out on a construction site, and you'll see the difference of what they think. I got some guys in the office. I got one guy in his second year will probably do 35 deals, and 90% of his business is new construction, and that's his philosophy.
Yeah, that's an incredible tip. I mean, that is phenomenal.
And I said, where's your suits? He's like, Jared, I show up in a suit, they're gonna think of me differently. I said, you know what, you're dead on, dude. I thought about back in the day, I dressed down for certain appointments. We have car sharing here. We drive different cars depending on who you're out with. So same thing with your door knocking.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to generating leads, one of the biggest things is you just have to stay persistent. You can't try door knocking and try it for a week and then go to doing phone calls and not hit the numbers, not hit your goals every day. You've got to really get consistent and persistent on doing the same thing over and over and over again before you're going to see those results. So it really doesn't matter which way they decide to generate those leads, whether it's online or through videos, to call the people, to door knock. You just have to stay persistent with whatever you're doing and do it well.
Scott, you and I talked about habits before. This comes right back to it, man. I don't care if you're trying to lose weight, get better at a sport or anything in life. Just be consistent. I tell people just to work on 1 or 2 lead generations, get that under control, then worry about the next 2, and then try to model around 5 in that range. What most people try to do is they do the shotgun approach. Let me just do a couple here, a couple here, a couple here, and they're not consistent. You're trying to hit home runs. Let's go back to baseball at the Royals. I talked about that before. I'll take a singles hitter all day long. I don't want a long ball home run guy. It's batting 240. I'll take the 3 over 330 guy, Tony Gwynn,
Yep.
So we said the next one is number 3. What are the best scripts and objection handlers that generate urgency and motivation? So what I find with agents and what we're doing well, what agents are doing well, is you got to ask the right questions, but you have to understand what the seller's motivation is. And a lot of times sellers don't truly understand why. They say they want to move, but really what do you want to move? And if you don't move, how would your life be differently? You got to get granular. Like, you're commuting 2 hours a day. That's 10 hours a week, and that's X amount of hundreds of hours a year. What would your life be differently if you didn't do that? And in the spring market, what we're trying to do and what we do is we help agents is help them decide what's the right time for the seller to put their house on the market. And the biggest thing with the objection handlers is trying to get them to understand, when is that right time, and maybe they shouldn't sell. Maybe they should keep the house. What's the motivation? So, you guys see anything else out there on that?
Well, we don't, so we're not exactly privy to that part of it because all the market conditions are different. So our individual coaches that are working with the clients will have a better idea of how individual agents are kind of handling the specific objections, because they vary obviously throughout the different regions. Like, everybody's going through different things in terms of inventory. So you've got all that you're trying to fight. You've got, there's a lot of our top clients are just, they're starving for inventory. They just need more sellers, and so they are having to try to convince people that are a little bit more on the fence. They're not just automatically coming to the table motivated. They see the real estate market kind of picking up, but maybe they don't necessarily need to sell, and so yeah, you really have to paint that picture. So Jeremy, what are you hearing, or what would you give out as maybe some good objection handlers if you're dealing with somebody that's in that situation where you need more inventory, you've got the buyers, you can sell the house, but the sellers just are not in that position where the situation is giving them a sense of urgency, and you have to kind of help create that.
Well, here's a good example for that, Matt. So when's the best time in sports? NFL free agency just came, right? When's the best time to go to free agency?
Okay.
When you're on top, right?
Yep, coming off your best year.
Last year? Yeah.
Yeah, last year. So with the housing market, what I've noticed is the same thing in the housing market. It's not always the best time, but when the market's doing well, you got to take advantage of it because we don't know what's going to happen next year. So with our sellers, what we have to have them understand is right now we know you can get X. But can you roll the dice and maybe get X more next year? Maybe. But we know you can get this now. So let me ask you a question. If I can get you this now and get you to Florida in the next 3 months, how would your life be different? So to answer your question, what I just do with them there is I have to future pace them and get them to understand the benefit and what would be the negative if they stayed in that house in Philadelphia for a couple more years. And that's the part that most people do not look at is they don't understand, they don't look at the long-term picture, they just look at the day-to-day. And my agents have to help people look at the future, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And they got to test the free agency market now in the sense of putting the house on the market when it's doing well. And Matt, we're facing the same issues here in Philadelphia and Scott, same stuff. We need, suburbs. We need more good inventory. It's the same issue. We're out there on the streets hitting them harder than ever, just trying to find good inventory. And that's all we're doing. So the objection handlers, we're working on that daily. My agents, a lot of them they're practicing them probably 3, 4 days a week. I'd like to see 5, but I'll be lying if I said 5. They're working on 3, 4 days a week of how to ask the right questions to get a seller to realize that now could be the right time to sell it.
Yeah.
So
very good.
And then what was the next one? What are the top agents? Oh, what are the top agents
staying in touch
after, right?
Yep.
So how are they staying in touch with listing appointments to close more deals? Well, one is I think what you guys do. How are they staying in touch? You got to be staying in touch with some type of system. You guys are all about systems. So as soon as they go on an appointment, bam, they should be sending a thank you card, handwritten afterwards, thanking them for the opportunity. Number 2, they should be sending them some type of value in an email. And then thirdly, they always should have a next step when they leave the appointment. And those are probably the 3 things that we work on our agents with to stay in front of a person. And if they come out of an appointment and don't understand exactly what the person wants, then they got to get back in there and figure out what that seller wants and how they're going to get back in there. So
okay.
Pretty much how we're dealing with that right now.
Yeah, and I love the handwritten note, which is fantastic. I know a guy that will keep him in his car, and after a listing appointment, if he doesn't take the listing, and sometimes even if he does, I think he still sends a handwritten note. And in almost all cases, he'll actually write it in the car, slap a stamp on it, and drop it off at the nearest mailbox on his way home from the listing appointment.
Smart.
Yeah, just to get it in the mail, get it back to them as quickly as possible. Now there's some. What's up?
So he does it in the car, you said?
Yeah, he just keeps them in his, keeps some extra materials in his car to write the notes. Yeah, he'll go and write it after he leaves a listing appointment, drop it in the nearest post office box around town on his way back.
That's cool.
Yeah. So then, at least on our side, what we like to do and what we encourage our clients to do is actually have kind of an email sequence that goes out that when they don't take a listing appointment, they can put them on that sequence that will send them some testimonials, success stories of other homes that they've sold, just to kind of reinforce the value of working with that, you as an agent specifically. So if you have success stories, if you have testimonials, as an agent, gather as many of them as you can, get them together into a packet, get them together into an email, a couple of series of emails. It doesn't have to be like this automatic fancy drip campaign or anything. You can literally just keep them in Gmail as like a saved email, so you can just copy it and paste it and send it to your sellers that you just met with. But anything that you can send them that kind of reinforces the value of working with you and gives them some success stories and testimonials would be extremely helpful. So we have a lot of top clients that do that. And then you mentioned just on the video side, some will actually send them a video. Some people use BombBomb to send them an instant message through video, which can be really powerful. So there's all kinds of ways that you can follow up. You just have to kind of pick a system. Pick out what your 2 or 3 things are, and you've got your system that you teach to your agents there in the office. If they would stick to that and just do the handwritten note and follow up with a phone call, that alone would be very powerful.
I like that, Matt. And on the testimonials, you got me thinking there. So on the testimonials, if you go, I like Facebook for testimonials on the business page on the review section, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have the coaching page, I have the office page, and I get my agents, many as they can, put the reviews on there, and I can send that review link right to a prospect to get them to see the examples of what we're doing differently. And then my blog has a testimonial section, but I believe the importance of that blog is you should be able to look at a person's blog and understand who they are, what they do, and what's their value. That blog should be that person. And I've learned that with our agents, I need to get more agents on that system of the blog where the testimonials and all the things that they're interested about is an information page about them, up to date more and utilizing, because it's really helped me stay in front of people and get them to understand, what I do differently. Because once I meet them, you guys know this, the biggest challenge I think in real estate, managing office, coaching, anything, is just getting in front of the client, right? Would you guys agree?
Yeah. It's everything.
If you guys get in front of someone, they'll see the value. Most likely, if you follow up with them in a decent fashion, like Matt said, they're probably going to buy it if they see the value in it, right? But how do you get in front of them beforehand? And I think that's where you've got to utilize that video, and you got to utilize Facebook, and you got to utilize those systems we just talked about to get in front of them. Now, once you get in front of them, utilize the review section of testimonials. I like that handwritten note thing, Matt. That's pretty cool. That's smart because there's a delay. A lot of times there's a delay. You don't get it out right away.
Yep, exactly. Just get it done, get it in the mail, do it quick. And then Scott can talk about, Scott, can you share a little bit about how we send our own follow-up emails and how we actually use screenshots of the testimonials, just dump them right into the email rather than just to a place to look at them?
Yeah, so before I got on this side of the business, I was doing our lead follow-up, and that's one of the things that we try to share in every message. So when we get a new lead to come in, we start them on a drip campaign, and we send them out 7 different emails, and all of the emails have a different example of someone's success. So the first email may have a video of someone talking about how they've used viral marketing and had success using our program, and then the next one has a written testimonial, and then the next one has an audio testimonial. So it kind of switches it up. Instead of someone seeing the same thing over and over and over again, we use all of these different forms of testimonials to prove that we are the expert in the field. And that's really what you're trying to do with the testimonials, is position yourself as the expert in your market.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Jeremy, if you were talking about earlier, let's say someone's going after a specific complex. So target them on Facebook, generate the leads, get your first couple of sales, and just do a rock star job on those first couple of transactions, and set the expectation that I'm going to do an amazing job for you because I'd like to do more business, even more in this area, and I want to earn the right to ask for your testimonial as we get done at the end of this process. So when you get done with that transaction, then you set that expectation up front. They know if everything goes well, I'm going to give him a testimonial. And then usually right before it closes is the best time to kind of finish that up and actually get them either to write something, help you write something out, get them on the phone on a recorded line, or just set up a camera. You can do it with your iPhone. I mean, you can really keep it simple. You don't have to be techie at all just to get some type of a testimonial out of somebody. But then you have that to use. And then every other time you go after somebody in that complex, you have this extremely well-targeted, specific success story of someone's home that you sold that's right over there.
Yep.
And that's the most powerful. I mean, there's nothing more powerful than that, than having somebody else that's a neighbor of theirs say that you did a fantastic job doing exactly what they're thinking about hiring you to do.
I love it, Matt. You're right, and I saw it, in the businesses. You got to get it up front, talk about it, and then get it at the closing or right before the closing. I had an agent the other day come in my office. I got to talk to you. And he says, listen, what's 3 questions I should ask to get this person thinking about the testimonial? So I gave him a couple ideas. I said, why do you have to do it right now? Because it's at closing. And after closing, they're going to be busy, and it probably will take them a while. I give them credit. You got it, boom, it was done. A lot of people would have just waited and probably not gotten it.
Yeah, yeah, and they're so important. Just to have this like a stockpile of testimonials that you can use. I mean, it really is that's kind of your currency. That's really your asset. Is the people that you've helped in the past, that you have that testimonial from them, so that you can prove to other people without having to say it yourself that you're the most qualified person to sell their home. And so if you can get the more of them that you can get, and then you can start using them more and more in your listing presentations. You can send a pre-listing packet full of testimonials, which is amazing. I mean, that's one of the things we're working on in our business right now, is as we accumulate more and more success stories, when we get people come in before they take an appointment with us, we're going to start sending them even more. I mean, we're going to get to the point where we send them almost a ream of paper printed off in FedEx form full of success stories, which is an old J. Abraham thing. I mean, you can do some really fun stuff like that.
So, did you guys read the book Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster yet with Darren Hardy? It's his new book.
No.
All right, so I put a request in October for this book on Amazon.com. I'm a huge Darren Hardy fan. Compound Effect was a great book. I love listening to him speak, right? Buy the book. His book, the layout of his book is the best layout I've seen of a book in years.
Really?
It's exactly what you just said, Matt. J. Abraham style, remind me, but it was even more organized. First, bold colors on the front of the book, you open it up, right? It had a design of a roller coaster, that everything was affiliated with a roller coaster, but about business. As soon as you open up the book, testimonial after testimonial, probably for 3 to 5 pages of big-time names, what they thought. Boom, got your attention.
Yep.
Then he taught you how to read the book. Listen, after that, this is what you should get out of the book. And then each chapter had something to do with the roller coaster, like height requirement, strap in, and then he'd have a subject title. And then when you're done with each chapter, he had 3 bullet points that you should understand these 3 things from that chapter. And if you didn't, you should reread the chapter. Is that brilliant?
That is awesome.
I love that dude. But you mentioned about testimonials. I don't see enough of these guys leverage them right. And I thought of him. He does a great job of it.
Yeah, and I think probably for most agents, it's just you get into the process of kind of either closing or taking the listing, whatever the case is. You're starting to work with a new client. It's so far down the road sometimes to think about, oh, I need to set them up right now to give me a testimonial. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. It'd be nice to have. I can talk about it, but I don't really know how to get it. Like, how do I get them to write something? And there's plenty of materials out there on how to get success stories and when. And there's other like top agents that have given their opinions on what they do. And literally everybody does something different. So there's almost no wrong way to go about it. As long as you set the expectation in advance, there's all kinds of different ways you can get those testimonials. But that's probably one of the easiest things that you can do to close more seller listings and take a higher percentage of your listing appointments, is just have more success stories to share, both up front before they meet with you and during your presentation. Just have them, I mean, you can do it old style and just have them in a 3-ring binder, and just so people can flip through it. It's just such a huge thing.
And sharing those is the huge part of it. I mean, there are people out there that are getting testimonials, and they just throw them onto their website under a testimonials link, and they're hoping that when they hand out their link to their website, which is their homepage, that people are going to click through it and get to the testimonials and read all of them. They've got to get proactive about getting the testimonials out there, putting them in the emails that they're sending to those people, having a binder that they can pull out, because we
put them
see
up on Facebook.
Yeah, put them on Facebook so that people can read them. We see that people are, showing their results and the numbers. I did this, but having the testimonial where someone that you've worked with is saying that you are an expert is going to hold a lot more weight than just showing the numbers.
I like that. I'm taking a note on that, because you'll see it in the review section, but you won't see it, in the actual post. You're dead on, Scott. I'm going to add that. I appreciate that. And then the last one, we said, what's the best agents doing in a low inventory market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in that, what you guys talked about earlier about low lead generation, number one is what I'm seeing agents do is hit the streets. The hardest thing to do is get on the street, door knock, meet people face to face, and get them to understand the real estate market's doing well. Let's talk and see what your house is worth. The direct mail is still working. The phone calls, we use Cold Directory as a service to call around neighborhoods. That's working great. But our best results are the guys and the girls that have the guts to go on the streets and door knock and talk to people face to face and be okay with rejection. And guess what? It's not easy. I give them credit. I understand for people that don't do it and the people that do it. But if you get face to face and you're a talented agent, you'll see the results. Just not enough people know that the market's doing well. And it's probably the same thing in your guys' area too, but the Philadelphia marketplace, that's the one challenge that we're having with it.
Yeah, and is the weather, like, what's the weather factor right now in Philadelphia, and how's that affecting the spring market?
We just got a snowfall, but it melted, so we're okay. It's been a goofy winter. It was not horrible like last year, and the spring market started after the spring. I mean, it started like literally in May. It was crazy, right? So that part hasn't been that huge, I don't think. I hope the snow's done. We just had a great, crazy snowfall last week. So I really still think that, you guys know it is, I don't even watch the news. It's mostly negativity. You know, I'll give you an example. Philadelphia, all they're talking about today is Foles, how great Foles was. Well, guess what? They never talked about Foles when he was here. You know, how he was just okay. So same stuff. You know, the news is not helping us. So we got to get out there. We got to be the news. We got to get out in front of people and talk to them about how good the real estate market is, guys. And I think that's what's working for us.
Yeah, and we've actually got a really good question on that. So Donovan Mitchell asks, what's the script and the giveaway for door knocking? What are you seeing your clients or your agents doing?
So, Donovan, the script on door knocking is just be yourself and go up, introduce yourself, and ask them questions. And you'd have to understand the neighborhood. So I would say knock on the door. Scott, you're not going to know their name. So, hey, my name is Jbowers. I work over at Coldwell Banker. In your neighborhood, our office has sold X amount of properties in X price range. And I just wanted to introduce myself to you today and see if you or anybody else you know would be interested in talking to us to determine what your house is worth, and B, seeing if you want to get top dollar for your house right now. That's it. And then they're going to do what? They're going to talk to you, right? And then from there, don't talk about yourself. Ask them questions. Try to get to their motivation. Try to get to figure out who they are. And if you can't get that, then find out what's going on in the neighborhood. And it's just a numbers game. My agents have learned that how many no's will equal a yes. Just like on the phone, every person says no. You're making $20 to $40 range. You're going to talk to 20, 25 people a day. Same thing on the streets. Is the same thing with door knocking. And we have one guy that does probably $35 million, and it's got to be 75% of his business in one of our offices is from door knocking, getting face to face. So Donovan, that's probably your number one way. Just like when you sell anything, if you can get in front of them, you get a better shot of closing. So ask questions up front, find their motivation, but you got to come prepared, and you got to understand the neighborhood and give them some value. If you don't give them value, you're going to probably get shot out of the water right away.
Yeah, and that goes to the other part of his question. So you feel like the giveaway is more of the information, your knowledge of the neighborhood, so coming prepared in that sense. I'm sure most agents are probably asking his question, which is, do I need to physically give them something? Like, what's the item of value? Do you feel like it makes a difference to have that, or is it more the information and the credibility and the expertise you bring?
It's the question up front of what you say. Here, I'll give you an example. Check this out, guys. When you get a business card given to you at a networking event, when you give your card out, where does that card go? It's called the trash can. Because no one goes back to their office and goes, oh, God, I met Jeremy Bowers at this networking event, and I'm going to call him tomorrow. I'm going to enter it into my computer, and the next thing you know, we're going to build a relationship. Baloney. They take the card, they put it on their desk, and it collects dust, they throw it away. So when you're passing out information, what do you think happens? The same stuff. So what I would do differently is I don't carry business cards. I take business cards, and then I follow up with people. Same thing when you're out door knocking. If you pass out an information, what's the reason for that guy to give you his email address? You just gave him everything. So instead what I would do, Donovan, is I would actually get their email address and say, sir, I can get you a report, and I can keep you up to date on the market, and your neighbors like it, and it's free. What's your email address? Boom, email address, got it. Phone number, boom, got it. You're out. If you give them a printed material up front, how do you get his email and his number? So I like it that way. We've had great success with that. And Donovan, if you're networking, you're out meeting people, don't carry business cards. Take business cards. And if you don't have a business card on them, have them pull open their phone right then and get their name, their email address, put it right into your iPhone, and boom, send your contact information over to them right away, and then you have all their information too. That's my tip.
Yeah, and I can vouch that that does work. There's the client of ours, not client, but the person that we interviewed, several weeks ago that's out here that bases most of his business on door knocking, does something very, very similar. So he'll have kind of a notepad or a sheet that he keeps track of all the emails. So what he'll do is he'll just ask them, hey, if you're not thinking of doing anything right now, if you're open to doing something in the future, I'd obviously like the chance to earn your business. Do you mind if I just keep in touch with you from time to time? Most people will just give you a generic, sure. What he does is he says, well, obviously I know your name and I know your address. Do you mind if I grab? And then he just looks down and says, well, okay, what's your email? And just literally just looks down at his sheet and doesn't make eye contact until they give it to him. Because it works every time.
Smart, because it just seems so natural at that point for that person to give him his email address.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so I thought that was a great tip. And he's another guy. He'll like talking about introducing yourself. He'll stand probably a good 8 to 10 feet away from the door, which I'm sure. I mean that's in California. So I'm sure people on the East Coast would probably even more appreciate the physical distance. So if you're door knocking, you don't have to be right up on the door. It's gonna, obviously people, even in the Midwest where I'm from, it is still an unusual thing to do a lot of door knocking. You don't see it too much nowadays. People aren't expecting it as much as they might have used to. So having that physical distance is probably a good thing.
I like it.
Yeah. So anything else that you want to throw in? We got just a few minutes that we can spend on it. So is there anything that you're working with your agent specifically on? Let's say you've got someone that's doing 2 or 3 deals a year. They want to do more. They want to maybe double their business. There's lots of opportunity. They've got their database. They could be doing FSBO and expired calls and door knocking and all this stuff. How do you help them as an agent kind of figure out what is the best prospecting style for them?
There's only 4 quadrants to this business. And it's lead generation, systems, skills, and the last one I call it the double M, motivation and mindset. So you got to work on your motivation, your mindset, figure out what you want first, what's your why. There's a great book called Start With Why, Simon Sinek. Boom, read that book. Read Compound Effect and Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Then you work on the second bucket, which is called lead generation. And it's simple, just like anything in life. It's about rejection. The bigger the rejection, the more success. So I actually just bought a nice picture for my closet, and every morning when I wake up, it talks about Michael Jordan, the 26,000 shots he missed, the 32 games that he lost, blah, 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 stats. I put that up. I put my 6-year-old daughter's goals up, and next to the right of it's going my wife's, and then to the left is mine. And these goals are just this year, next year, and then over the next couple of years. And I told her to repeat it today, and she doesn't understand basketball. But someday she'll understand the more she puts herself out there, the more success that she'll have. So the second part of this is that lead generation part. If you're talking to 100, 150 people a week, I don't care what you say. Literally, you will get business. The third quadrant is skills. Once you get your skills honed down, you have to ask the right questions, have the right presentation, then you can actually talk to less people and get success. And then the last one is systems. Having a database, following up, cleaning it up. But guys, what I've realized, the biggest thing since I've been doing this gig for 3 years, it has nothing to do with any of that. None. It has to do, Scott, you and I talked about this before, habits. What time do you eat the night before? What time do you go to bed? That's it. If you eat late and you go to bed late, you're going to have a hard time catching up the next day. If you can eat right and go to bed right and get up at the right time and work out, that's half the battle. That's like 80% of the battle. Then when you get to work and you actually lead generate and do the 4 quadrants I talked about, that is the difference. So what I would say is if you're an agent doing 2, 4, 5, 6 deals, stop. Don't worry about anything about real estate. Look at your personal life, clean up your habits, get your why, and then worry about lead generation, skills, and systems. Isn't it interesting, guys? It's more about the habits first to build that concrete foundation than it is actually the real estate business.
Yeah, it's amazing, and real estate is such a cool business because just those a few little tweaks to your personal life can make such a huge difference in the amount of business you do. There's literally nothing, I don't know of anything else unless it's another 100% commission environment where just those small adjustments to things in your personal life that are completely outside of work can have such a huge effect on your income.
Yeah, I have one person in office going to bed, 11, 10, 12, 11, 12, 2 o'clock. We've been working for about a week to 2 weeks on this. Last night went to bed around 9 o'clock range. Boom, came in the office today, 3 appointments. Right? 3. First thing, what were you eating? What time are you going to bed? What are you thinking about? What crappy TV you're watching? Hers was not crappy TV, but a lot of people, they're watching, stuff on TV, should be reading books, getting to bed earlier, all those kind of things. It's amazing because they give themselves a fair shot when they work on the night before. So that's it. My name's Jeremy Bowers. Once again, if you want help, you want to take your business to the next level, I have plenty of examples of double and triple and quadrupling guys' business and girls' business. I've met people who are doing 30 grand that make 300 grand a year now. I got people that were making 30, 50 grand, making 100, 150 now. I don't care where you work. I'll help you grow your business at your current company. And then once you see the value in that, then you'll give me an opportunity to talk to you about Coldwell Banker and what we can do. But in the Philadelphia marketplace, we need more listings right now. So the more agents that I can touch and help you grow your business, that's a win in my book. And guys, most of the time what happens, just like in your guys' business, I'll get a referral. And even if they don't work here, I'll get a referral from them. And eventually they will work with us. And if they don't, it's okay. It might not be the right fit for everybody, but they'll still appreciate and refer you out to other people. And that's all I'm looking to do is just help people grow their business. And they can take a look at me. Just type in Jeremy Bowers on the internet. You'll see the blog, Facebook, all the viral marketing stuff we do, and you'll see it. And I appreciate everything you guys do, man. You guys have been a big help to our business, and I think we got, in this area, we got some people on it. We got to get some more people with you guys. I appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, same here. I mean, this is a great hangout. So, Scott, any final words before we sign off?
No, I just want to thank the viewers for coming and watching the hangout today. If you know anybody that may want to gain from the information that we joined today, we will get this on YouTube, and we'll go ahead and timestamp out all of the main topics that we talked about so that you can jump around that video right to where you want to be to hear what you want to hear. And be sure to join us next month on another episode of the Real Estate Success Hangout, and that will be on April 8th at the same time.
Cool.
Sounds good. Thanks a million, guys. Have a great week.
You too.